Jalal never dreamed that children would be able to play in this area of downtown Derna. The area was completely destroyed on September 11, 2023, after Cyclone Daniel passed through. Jalal is one of the survivors.
One team stays, the other leaves.
This football field has been built on top of the ruins.
This place was entirely destroyed by the flooding. All the buildings were leveled. Now, thanks to God and the authorities and the Derna Reconstruction Fund, look how everything came back to life. Look how people are happy and have come back to life.
Together, the local community is starting to rebuild their lives. Like many, Jalal is still haunted by the destruction from the floods. In just one day, Derna experienced as much rainfall as it typically receives in 6 months. 2 dams above the city burst, releasing 39 million cubic meters of water onto the city. More than 4,500 people were confirmed dead and hundreds more were never found. Jalal recalls the tsunami-like wave.
I didn't know whether I should swim or climb onto the roof. My brother and I clung to this wall, but the water just kept rising. I didn't know if I was going to survive, but the neighbors finally rescued us at 6 in the morning. I couldn't think anymore. It was chaos. The only thing I could think of was either get on the roof or die.
He received financial aid from the Derna Reconstruction Fund, which collected in total an estimated 1.9 billion euros. The fund is managed by engineer Belgacem Haftar, son of General Khalifa Haftar, a key military and political leader in the east. Since the flooding, the reconstruction of Derna has become the symbol of a new development policy to promote trust in local authorities. 155 construction projects are currently underway in the city, and the noise of the construction hums day and night. The rebuilding is making up for past oversights because the Derna catastrophe could have been partly avoided, according to the NGO Amnesty International. In a report published in March, they criticized political and military authorities for not preventing it and poor management of the floods. Instead of an inquiry, authorities prefer a speedy reconstruction project without oversight of tenders. The lack of transparency has not stopped construction. Many locals are hoping for jobs in the project. At least 13,000 flood victims have received financial compensation, but still about 7,000 families are awaiting new housing. Like this woman whose house was destroyed. She's living with her 5 children at her mother's house.
We were given an apartment. This document you see was given to me by the Reconstruction Fund. It proves that I should receive housing in 10 months. We have already spent our financial aid on my mother's hospital treatment in Benghazi and on repairing part of her house.
These 2,000 apartments for flood victims are in the final stages of construction. Due to poor city management, this real estate project was left unfinished for 15 years. That was until Belgacem Haftar decided to try and complete it. Other projects managed by the Reconstruction Fund are geared towards preventing another catastrophe. Following the dam burst on September 11th, most of the water overflowed into this ravine.
We are in the process of completely redesigning the layout of the river. We are currently building 4 bridges, including a 75-meter suspension bridge that will run from one bank to the other, protective walls and zones, and open-air tunnels that will be connected to the bridges and the drainage system, from the south of the valley to the north, all the way to the sea.
As for the dams which burst, studies are underway to rebuild them. It's a critical issue. Before the floods, researchers and specialists raised alarms about the dam's condition. There was no follow-up, and after the storm's destruction, many locals accused politicians of negligence. Despite the rebuilding, psychological trauma remains. According to UNICEF, children were the main victims of the storm, which hit Derna and nearby towns. This civic association is trying to offer emotional support.
We take in children who've been orphaned by the floods. Some have lost their homes, others their entire families. We try to get these traumatized children to play with others who are less affected or who are not direct victims. We show them that there is a way out and that they can gradually get better.
Social support and economic recovery are part of the second stage in Derna's reconstruction plan. The restoration of the city should be completed by the end of 2025.